Is this working?
Yeah, cool. So this is
Oh,
Obaloney. This is the guy that I was playing. We were playing yesterday, right? Yesterday or 2 nights or night?
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just the masher.
All right, that's cool. All right, so Joe, are you gonna just hang out with us for a bit or what?
Actually, let me go do some. Probably gonna get some food. So.
All right. Well, thanks for helping me out with it. Man.
Like,
Yeah, that's good. All right, well,
I'm not doing it.
let's talk about Soul. What do you think about Soul?
So it's I think between his relatively not committal pressure and the strength of wild throw is kind of tough on defense. At neutral,
Huh?
I don't know. Soul Fire Slash is kind of a problem, but at neutral, Soul doesn't get that much off of just landing a Fire Slash. I don't think.
He doesn't get much of anything, so the risk reward.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing too, like, what do you have that deals with Far Slash? You might have to commit to an early guard point move, I'm guessing.
But if you do that, well, that's the problem because you have to commit and Soul kind of doesn't. So if you whiff something, that you might end up on the defense against Soul, which is something you don't want as Anji at least.
Okay.
I mean, you don't want that against as any character really, but Anji, it's like one of Anji's fundamental weaknesses is that he's kind of weak to characters who have a good low throw mix up, and Soul definitely has that.
Yeah, that's why I think, yeah, a lot of characters don't like that. Strong lows kind of are really weak against Anji, huh? Like,
Oh yeah, like even Mei, for example, if you have to do like a 5k to prevent yourself from getting thrown, I just mashed like 6k OS on wake up. If I don't throw you, I get my strong ass K guard point move. It's stuff like that.
What about Kai?
Kai is another one of those characters that is pretty honest. He has to like really build up to his good damage stuff. His mix up is I mean it's nothing special, right? If he throws you, it's not that bad.
Is honest. That's kind of true.
If he throws you, it's not that bad. If he hits you with the low, it's not that bad. It's just he might be better at neutral in some ways, but Anji has more what's it called? More opportunities to do more damage, so that evens it out in my opinion.
I wonder if
oh, not to mention Vapor Thrust is a pretty garbage reversal.
I forgot. I'll keep going. We'll just keep this going. This is pretty fun. Yeah, Kai probably wins neutral, but Anji out damages him. What do you think? Wait. We have Ukyo's input right here. He says it's a 5. Ooh. And then what'd you say? It's also a 5. Okay, it's not.
Yeah, it's a 5.
That's anticlimactic.
No. Yeah, the honest matchup is honest, right?
I think I'll be down to talking to you, Sean, after this is over. You should probably be down. If you're down for waiting for like another 20-30 minutes. That's how long it's probably gonna take, Alex. Well, Kai has the benefit of good lows, right? So I guess yeah. You have the really good active attacks too, right? The Kai's. I mean, I think what Alex is basically saying is that you could probably do it, but can you out damage Anji over time? Sounds like a DPS race. Like,
yeah,
you see Anji definitely winning.
Yeah, Kai might be better at winning exchanges in general, but yeah, you just don't beat damage. You just don't beat Anji in damage most of the time.
I'm curious, can you deal like if he does like a star mine? Kai throw is only scary in the corner. This is true.
It depends on what Kai is trying to do. Star Mine is something you can just guard point to if you really want to do.
Like I like a lot of the things that like are like nuisances for other characters. Anji's gonna be like, I'm an animal.
Oh yeah.
When I can FRC and do a javelin move.
Like smashing 6k throw OS is stupid. It's like so strong. And he can.
Wait. I guess for people that don't know, explain the OS film. Do you mind explaining it real quick?
So 6k OS is basically so his Anji's 6k is his mid guard point. Guard points. It's a reversal guard point.
What
frame
does the guard point on?
In mid moves. The guard point's mid.
Frame? Is the first frame guard point?
Oh, 1 to 7. The guard point's from 1 to 7.
I'm rolling my
eyes. if you just press it with throw, you get it's also a throw. So you can't hit him mid, and you can't be too close to him. You can only hit him low and out of throw range, or you can I mean do something else to avoid it entirely. But basically, that messes up a lot of people's like just trying to do stuff normally.
I'm kind of curious with Kai's. I know Kai and Robokai have like a pretty luxurious like 5K loop. I think that's what Ukyo was saying, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sasuke was gonna mention. I knew he was gonna mention that.
Yeah, those characters are strong against that.
It's cool, dude. No one's expecting to ever know their frames perfectly. So I can step back like an inch. Yeah, Kai's one of the better characters for this. But I think what it comes down to ultimately is that Kai might just be a little bit not so beefy on terms of damage, right? And
yeah, it's not threatening, so it feels less. I mean, I personally feel less scared to take more gambles on Wake Up against Kai.
because I'm gonna guess the Alex probably my damage is shrugged me in. The butterfly stuff in the corner. I think it's hard for everyone though, right? Typically, if you put a butterfly on them, they're gonna kind of be suffering anyway.
Yeah, butterfly mix-up is just good.
6S is silly. 6S is a lot of real estate screen consumed for sure.
Yeah, 6S is pretty good at those exchanges. 'Cause it's just better than Kai's Far Slash. Kai's Far Slash, even on the counter hit, I don't think you get enough compared to what Anji can do with counter hit 6S or just a normal hit 5H.
I'm going back to Ukyo, yeah. But I can see scenarios where Anji can't just play recklessly versus how it is versus other characters, yeah. So ultimately, I pushed it back to 5.5 for me. Okay. Yeah. I can see that wiggle room too between Ukyo's like play style with Kai, right? It also probably depends too, like how comfortable you are at neutraling the whole way through, right? For Kai against Anji, whereas I think I'm guessing Alex, what you just kind of guerrilla your way through the matchup basically, right?
In a sense, not afraid to take a random Far Slash, as far as I know.
Right. I guess the distance that Kai is usually really annoying for, it's actually a risk for him. Typically, it's Anji.
Yeah, it's at Fujin range. You don't just throw out stun edges because you might just get Fujin.
It'll be interesting when I can talk to Ukyo about this. I'll try to remember everything.
But something Kai does have that's really good is a 12 sweep that's active for 12 frames. That always beats Fujin.
Oh, you just do it? Like, that's funny.
Yeah, if you think Anji's gonna Fujin, you just press sweep.
Huh.
And the force break charge stun. I don't know what it's called. The force break ball thing on the ground. That one's really good too.
Yeah, I'll have to... First break ball is good, yeah. So yeah, see, this is where like Ukyo has all these things like I can do this, but then you're just like, it's still probably my favorite. But basically, Alex says that the matchup is, it's just like Kai's damage is he's too fair with not enough.
Yeah, I think Kai's too fair.
Okay, that's fine. Mei. Honestly, let's see. Yeah.
Mei, I just think Mei, I'm probably really biased against Mei because I think her AC counterpart was so strong. Like in AC, this was maybe a 6-4 matchup in Mei's favor.
Oh, yeah,
but now that Anji's better in every way and Mei's kind of worse in a lot of ways, I don't see it. I can't see it in Mei's favor.
I can see that.
Even though I lose to you all the time, I still can't, in good faith, say that is like in Mei's favor by that much.
Just not overall the changes. Yeah, because like all the new tools that she got doesn't necessarily make the matchup any better for her. Because you don't use them against Anji anyway.
Yeah, and not to mention some of her approach, she's just not quick enough. And why I think Anji is good against characters that are not quick is because guard points are just command normals. If anyone with decent reactions will just counter your stuff with guard point. Like if Mei tries to approach with an instant air dash, like almost anything, you can just guard point it. She has to take risks to change her jump in timing, and just that in itself is gonna screw her up.
Right.
Meolia, I think Meolia is hard to fight against in general, but she's one of the characters. She's one of those characters that just has a fundamental disadvantage of dying in 2 to 3 hits. That's something that Anji can really take advantage of because I find myself like poking against characters like that. I find myself trying to get a good 5S or a jump S in, and those moves convert. Like against those characters, those moves probably lead to like a 2 or 3 hit win. Like same thing with it's Chip and Bridget. Those kinds of characters, they're they might be advantaged in a lot of ways, but they just can't take hits, right?
Right.
And Anji just has some like random gorilla stuff he can do. Like off of Anji's K counter, if you just combo off of it, it's like 120, 130 something damage.
Mm-hmm.
So if they just run into that, it's like it might be game over for them. It's that plus 2 more combos, or 2 or 3 more combos, I guess.
I guess I'm gonna ask you the other question then. So typically it comes down to, can you handle Milia's mix-up? And I guess you don't really have a direct answer to it, right? But she has to pick one or the other, right? She has to pick either the low or the high, right? And so I guess if you guess right, you can turn it on her, right?
Yeah, like she does go both low, high, low, and throw, and she does have a good throw game.
Mm-hmm.
But just having answers against that at all is a really strong advantage.
Alright. Do you have answers for pin outside of just probably letting her pin on you?
Pin is hard to deal with.
Okay, that's the classic. I got pins there. But oh yeah, I guess I disagree with this.
Yeah, I mean, you could guess that she's gonna throw pin, but it's gonna be at an angle where you can't hit her.
Leo,
like if you guard point, you're not gonna hit her with any of the guard point follow-ups.
I can see Far 6S being really good in that matchup, just to like humble her to the ground, basically.
6S might keep her honest to some degree, but she might run past it, and that's one of the.
Oh, it's rolling.
Yeah, I mean, because that move's weak against maneuverable characters, and Amelia is definitely a maneuverable character.
Well, Leo, why do you think it's 5.5?
Against what?
Oh, Amelia.
No, I put 5 against Amelia.
No, but Leo thinks it's 5.5, and he's also an Anji.
Oh, okay. Oh, Amelia's favor? No, it could be Amelia's favor, because she has good low throw. That in itself makes Anji have to guess twice, and but she's not, cross-ups aren't very good against Anji though, so she loses that part of the mix-up.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about the mix-up for the cross-up though is that she's trying to bank on you not, it's like she's doing one or the other, right? Like she has like 5 options basically, right? It's gonna be the cross-up, the high-low, then the throw. So,
yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
You're still a 1 in 5 guess for Anji, so I'm gonna say that the mix is probably still gonna work. But I guess what's cool about Anji, right? If you do get the correct guess, you take your turn back, right? Which is better than most characters, right? Some characters just like they block it and they still have to hold it, right? That's pretty good function, I would say. And
on top of that, Milia doesn't have a meterless reversal herself. She's not well suited against Butterfly Oki at all.
Oh yeah, 2D is pretty good for her.
Oh yeah, 2D. Milia 2D is great in that matchup too. Like Milia 2S and 2D are really annoying to deal with.
Okay, that can be a big problem because that's a big move for her too, right? For neutral. So I could see that matchup being skewed a little bit between 4 point. It probably depends on the player how they feel about it.
Yeah, it's hard, but when you hit Milia, she dies.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, she gains guard bar fast too. Oh, that's true. She has also like that's what Alex was saying, right? That she explodes when you hit her. So if you have damage, they feel the impacts of it a lot more.
If she blocks like 2 normals, she's gonna take half damage in the next combo almost for sure.
I guess we'll keep trucking on though.
Yeah.
Let's see if anything to say about Milia in particular. Anything else you would like?
I mean, move at your pace because I have a lot of things to say about a lot of these characters. So
yeah.
So you should move. I say we move at your pace instead.
Right. Alright, let's do Eddie. What do you think about Eddie? I think that
Eddie
for summary is fine. We'll talk about some key points of the hit point, and then we'll keep moving. Anything detailed, like chat could probably ask about it, and then we'll bring it up, I suppose. If that makes more sense.
Yeah. Well, Eddie, I think that matchup was probably even back in Accent Core, and now that Eddie is worse and Anji's is much better, it's hard to imagine Eddie still having a real advantage. And even back then, Anji could guard point out of Eddie's unblockables.
Right.
Right. And now that he doesn't even have that anymore, Anji doesn't have that pressure on him anymore. And now he just kind of loses. Well, his pressure is still pretty good. He has a command throw, but his pressure is more risky than before. Or I mean, I should say is less rewarding than before.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, we lost our Eddie player. I think he went to bed earlier, so we can't talk. I can't ask him about. I'll try to. Try to remember though for tomorrow. Gotcha though.
Yeah. Also, no defensive options against Butterfly. It's always bad times.
Right. When you
Oh,
guys,
his
yeah.
yeah. No, and his anti-air is also not very good.
Mawadu free 6K. Yeah, that's true. Like Mawadu, if you IB it too, you definitely get the 6K guard point, right?
Well, I mean his anti-air. So like he has what 6P and 2H or whatever that move is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure. His best anti-air is probably Nobiru, but that costs Eddie. so Anji can't even approach. So it feels like Eddie is disadvantaged in a lot of ways.
Okay. Wait, what did Sunny say about this matchup? Let's see here. Where's Anji? 4.5. Yeah, he says it's a losing matchup. I believe it then. That's funny. That's cool. Yeah, he also agrees that's also not in his favor. Okay, I can see it. I'm not sure what Eddie would do particularly in terms of normals, right? His lows are all mentions for to serve like just be good enough to get the knockdowns and whatnot. That's basically what they're there for. Anything beyond that is not gonna do any good.
Yeah, he also seems to do less damage now. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but when I get hit by Eddie, it's not like, oh, I have to time some reversals or I die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now it's just like a combo into whatever. I don't even know.
And typically he's always gonna start the block stream with Mini Eddie, or I guess in this situation he has to start with himself. If he wants to make the low work, right? And so it's kind of awkward.
That too, and Anji's always been good at killing little Eddie.
Right. Huh. Interesting. I can see it. I can see it being not so great for Eddie. There's a lot of things I don't. Because I've been playing a lot of him just for funsies, right? I'm like, damn, this character feels so much weaker. And if he's not as strong as he was for Maxing Core, then Anji was already like kind of gorilla his way around, right? That already sounds like it's gonna be a really bad matchup for him.
Yeah, it was already like at worst even for Anji. Pot,
This is your 5, huh?
I think is a 5. Butterfly mix-up is just so good against Pot, and Anji can take advantage of his fundamental weaknesses, which is no mobility and fairly committed stuff. Pot has to commit to some of his longer range stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but Pot has Pot Buster. like between his Pot Buster and not Pot Buster, it's just not. It's still not good times for Anji. Like you don't want to just randomly 3K to try to beat the Pot Buster, for example. You're gonna take a lot of damage. That's just how I see it, though. It's kind of a weird matchup. Actually, no. It's a straightforward matchup for Anji, but it might be a weird matchup for Pot. Anji gets really easy conversions against Pot, so although Pot normally has a health advantage, Anji gets the full like max damage plus knockdown. It kind of negates that.
What does the 5P lead to, Ukyo? Also, what's the link that you're talking about, Leo? Does Pot gonna do a far slash into does Pot Buster far slash in mid screen?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
5K. Sorry, go on.
Wait, so Pot has a Pot Buster mid screen far slash link. Ooh, that works on mid screen. That's brutal. That could be a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that would be a pretty big deal.
Give me a
But
snowman arm here. What is this? Try.
what everyone's saying about 5P is definitely true, though. 5P is a move that's +3, and Pot can't crouch. So it's free. It's just free pressure.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Oh yeah.
I wonder how Anji's 5P. Well, I guess it's so much further than like Soul's. So I think Soul also has a +3 5P, but I don't know if it's as strong.
It's Anji's 5P is +3.
No, so,
I mean,
so is Soul's, if I recall correctly. Soul
oh really? Well,
yeah.
well, I guess the way I look at it is like normally people can crouch Anji's 5P, so you can think of it as being balanced around that, right? But Pot can't. You can't crouch Soul's 5P, I think, with anyone.
Never mind. I don't know why it's bracketed. What do the brackets mean? Startup. Oh, it's a dragon install? Never mind, it's neutral, so damn, having +3 is pretty annoying. Yeah, that sounds like pretty nightmare. I think... interesting. But it still feels even for you? I guess the return, right? Because Pot's still probably gonna make a YOLO read on you. And the fact he can do the Hotbuster 5S2S Ephes is probably a pretty big deal.
Yeah, Fujin beats a lot of his mid-range options as you would expect, and Anji also has his own mid-range options. If you can condition the pot to do things like anticipate your butterfly with the slide head, then that works to your favor.
Gotcha.
Especially now that slide head kind of sucks compared to before, at least.
I don't know how they nerfed it, so I don't really know in particular. But...
I mean, it just in the sense that he can't just combo off it for free.
Oh, that's true. That was a cheater mechanic. You can't combo from it. Okay, that makes sense.
And even back then, you could just Fujin slide head.
Oh, really? Just like.
Yeah, if you see a slide head coming, you might be able to Fujin it. If he's not like faking a 6K or something, I guess 6K might beat Fujin, but whatever. I think it's pretty even.
Okay, that's funny. I tend to like think like pot always has matchups that are like either you kind of like massacre him, but even it's just kind of interesting to me. But I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move on for time's sake. Chip.
Chip. I'm not too well versed in that matchup.
Okay.
Chip is a character. Chip is. His speed is a problem, but his health is not. That's the best I can describe it. Like if you're a good Anji player, I think you can make him. Chip has to be pretty honest when it comes to things like leaf throw. He can't just like do leaf throw and expect to win off it, right?
That's
and his cross ups can all be OS'd. And because I think unlike Milia, Chip has to go into his cross ups more predictably than Milia, I would say. You can always try to OS it.
That's pretty crazy. So if you OS a meaty, how fast do the guard points hit if they connect? Like after you activate it.
So guard points are there are some different timings. So if you do the quickest possible timing, it's the PK and D guard points are all 4 frames, and that's during hit stop.
Right. Okay. That's kind of a big deal. Right? They're stuck in that state then basically. It's kind of like doing Vikings counter as fast as possible, where they're kind of like doom no matter what they're doing.
Yeah. So actually, you know that Chip's downwards drill kick thing, whatever that I don't know what that move is.
Jump 2K, yeah.
Okay, yeah, jump 2K. That has like almost no hit stops. That's actually pretty good against like the anti-air guard points.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm probably gonna push you along just because like you said you're not super familiar with the matchup.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the matchup.
What about Faust though?
I think Anji does fine against Faust. Faust relies on a lot of mid-range stuff.
Alright.
A lot of characters that rely on laggy mid-range stuff and has to be afraid of Fujin.
I feel like that's how it's gonna be for like, oh, yep, they're a poker.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna far slash, I might just Fujin it. If you're gonna 5H, I might Fujin it. However, Faust 2K is a big problem. Faust 2K is a big problem because, at least I think it is, because I can't time reversals to save my life. But it just beats Fujin clean. And does Faust 2K hit low or mid? I actually don't know.
It hits low.
It hits low. Okay, so that's even a bigger problem.
I think all 3 hits are low if I recall correctly. Ukyo, do you know exactly? 2K first hits mid. Oh, the first.
Okay. So you can OS throw against it.
Second and third are low.
But if they time it differently, then your OS throw would just lose to the low.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, it won't lose to the your guard point would just lose to the low because you won't be in range to throw.
Right.
He has a command throw. He has also Faust is Faust, right? Faust is just a good all-rounder character. I think the main things is that Anji is good against characters that want to operate full screen because of that crazy ass super jump, and Faust is probably on that list. If Faust just does random drill, we're talking about J2K, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one of the moves that you kind of guard point for free if he does it too far away. Baiken. Hmm. That's that's one of those really mind game heavy matchups because both characters can do kind of similar things to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Anji block strings aren't particularly good against Baiken's counters,
Okay, I can see that already.
but
Do you Fuji cancel everything and hope for the best, or what?
you can counter Baiken counters with Fujin. You can counter with more guard points, or you can just not commit. Against Baiken, I think not committing is fine. Baiken has a somewhat has an advantage on offense, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
because or at least Anji has a somewhat more disadvantage on offense because you can't just run your normal stuff. If you're doing a butterfly, it's more of a mind game than an actual OT/mix-up, right?
Right.
Yeah,
That's probably gonna be a
but
common trait for all Baiken matchups, though, right? For anyone that's against you, like, yeah.
oh yeah, but Baiken is not that quick. She's not she can't run circles around Anji or anything like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So you can play a on the pretty honest like stare down game with her.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention about it? Anything that
Also,
you find difficult minus counters? You can mix her up without butterfly, and she's still, yeah. I mean, if you have a general mix-up that she has to take, that's pretty good. And she doesn't. You do have a command overhead, right?
yeah, you have actual high-low mix-ups. The biggest disadvantage is just that you can't always get as much mileage out of butterfly.
Mm.
So even
Less of a game than you normally would, right?
yeah, even though Anji has a good throw game because of butterfly, Baiken is good against that. Baiken is weak to throw, right? But because Anji's throw game relies on butterfly more often,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of negates that too.
Okay. I was gonna say like, yeah, I'm trying to think of like things that you talked about counters, right? It's definitely a mind game that you can work around with.
It's a mind game for both players.
Right.
Baiken can't go ham either because
Okay.
once she sticks out of the move, she's probably not gonna counter your guard point follow up.
I think it's gonna be really curious because I think Baiken's one of those characters that you have to get the opinion of a Baiken player how they feel about the matchups.
Yeah, probably.
Because we're just be like, well, I got to deal with this counter. Have to bait guard cancels and throw a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is, right? I was talking too that Tron that like if you have a command overhead that's kind of like you like somewhat decently hard to react to, it can be a problem for Baiken, right? Because they kind of want to do their OS counters, right? But if they have to block an overhead or like because they have to look out for it, it can really mess them up. And Anji does have one of those. Don't know if it's super great because it's not entirely the quickest overhead. I would say it's just more like a nuisance. It's like a nuisance overhead.
It's 20 frames. It's not bad.
I know. It's pretty quick then. Not impossible to deal with. All right, Jam. This is the match you have a chance to add. Wow, that's interesting. This is a 4 for you.
I think it's really difficult.
Damn. Wow.
Because her normals are just very good. Like if you press buttons at roughly the same time, I feel like often she wins the exchange.
Oh,
You have to try to whiff punish Jam, but trying to whiff punish Jam is just as much of a mind game as trying to get out of a pot Oki. So I don't know.
Okay, I can see it. I'm trying to think. She out damages Anji in general.
Yeah, she out damages Anji. She punishes Anji's mid range options are fairly committed, and she punishes that as well. She has a thin hitbox on the ground, so butterfly Oki timings are more restrictive against her as well. And she has a reversal at all. She has reversal.
Okay. No, it's just a DP. Jam has never been a good matchup except for maybe Slash. Oh, did they nerf her 2S in this game too? I know it's like that move was still an asshole move. 2S is
It's really strong.
Yeah.
It's really strong against Anji has a lot of extended hitboxes on his normals, so his 2S is so strong against that.
Yeah, for the newer guys, I'll just put the thing back in the chat. There you go. That's what we're looking at. We're curious. Okay. Cool. I'm trying to think because I'm not really a Jam player, right? She's a little nuanced, like in terms of playstyle for me, so I can't really say what's like particularly like to watch out for. How do you deal with like cards, like when she's charged up, like are your options still there, or is it like really annoying?
You just know that the next hit you're gonna take is probably gonna like almost kill you. Also, if I remember correctly, I've been told that the dragon kick is strike invulnerable on some frames.
It is actually straight up is like a striking rule.
Okay, yeah. So if you try to have a neutral exchange and she just does that, you might just die.
You get 6p it though.
Yeah, you can 6p it, but Jam, I like 6p is good against that in particular. But Jam has options to beat 6p pretty cleanly.
Charge kick is really fast. This will be interesting to see Jam match. Like that's another perspective I want more so on, because I feel like Jam is one of those characters that you might have to be like play backseat to, depending on when she charges up. I wonder if the Jams is be like, well, I built my charge, and now I just get if I get my card, the matchup was fine. If I get my card, the matchup was fine, right? That's my
it's. I think it's just as much of a player matchup as it is a character matchup.
Okay. Alright, Johnny.
It's like I said earlier, it's the Johnny fighting Anji is like fighting a better version of himself. Like they both have projectile OK, but Anji's is free. They both do good damage, but Anji, well, Anji doesn't need to land a coin first.
I don't, cause like even if Johnny's pokes are like fast, like they're not good enough against a character like Anji that can just kind of like even if your timing is poor, right, your guard points will still be a factor for Johnny to deal with, and that's like kind of like, oh, that's like sounds like a tough life for Johnny.
That might not be true because Johnny can vary his timings because of miscancel and just how fast it is, and he has a pretty good throw game. But the Johnny is. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, go.
But Johnny's mid-range. Johnny's a mid-range character, I would say. That's just not good against Anji in general, and it's not as if he has good whiffs. Like if Johnny whiffs a 5H or a 6H, he's in trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's true for every match. I would say, right?
Well, yeah, but I guess because Anji has something like Fujin and guard points, he has to vary his timings even more. And something like that gives Anji more chances to escape. And objectively, Anji can do stuff against missed unblockables, so Johnny kind of has to guess on that one too.
Yeah, Leo, that's pretty much like a given for Johnny, in my mind at least. Yeah, a lot of Johnny's buttons are they're fast and they're very fast and have high recovery with very low active frames, right? So there's a very prime target for getting hit by a Fujin or something.
Well, Axel, right? Okay. So Axel, this is another matchup I don't have too much experience with in +R. It just seems like before it was probably in Axel's favor, but now that Anji is better, I don't know anymore because just sometimes just super jumping is good enough. he does one of his lower chain moves and you just super jump it. You just win that exchange, right?
Yeah, I can see that. The arc is really good on it too, right? Covers that distance almost immediately.
Yeah, you just put yourself at the spacing of the super jump, and Axel might not want to press buttons as much. Like what hits at that range? Like 2p maybe, 5p. That's about it.
Green chain, that's up arc maybe, but I don't even know if like arc will hit it. Because other things you have to deal with it as well. What's it called? I don't know what the green chain called that Axel have.
I forgot too.
Roshogeki or something. I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, whatever it is. Up arc is good. But if you jump in and block the up arc, you still got closer to Axel.
Yeah, that's actually something I didn't think about too, because Rensen. I don't know, Leo, how do you feel about it? I think it's 5.5 Axel layer, but it's not that bad. Interesting. I'm curious about getting an Axel player's, like, thoughts on it. I wonder if we can get digital. Let me see if I can stuff.
Oh yeah, Stomp is good against him. Axel's 2-hit chains are a problem against Fujin, but I think a lot of them are not active for 12 frames total, so you can Fujin some of those. You can definitely Fujin Rensen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was bad for Anji in vanilla. Yeah, I don't know what else. Like, actually has counters, I guess. But Anji, the P counter, I think Anji can go under it, right? I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
like the K counter. The K counter is like whatever. The P counter, I think you low profile it. Oh, and his DP you can hit low. His reversal game isn't as much there either.
Cool. Yeah, cause I'm not sure what pokes like keep Anji out and stuff too. I can't really build an image of it, like how that. So that's definitely gonna be another. As I said, like I'm not. I know the game like on a pretty well level, but I couldn't describe like specific matchups for sure, right? Like I'm gonna just draw a blank. I have no idea how this match turns out. How often do we even see Axel versus Anji when I really think about it?
Yeah. I mean, there are not that many Axel players in general.
3P you can guard port on wake up if they keep doing it. Oh really? That's the low hit, right? That's like the where he like chains to the floor, right? If I recall correctly.
Oh, but one thing Axel does have that's pretty that's pretty good is that he has a damaging throw game. He's one of the characters that actually combos off throws for a lot of damage.
You're really worried about throws and lows, basically, which just makes me laugh. That's
yeah, no, that's how it is. Because Anji's best reversal is probably, well, if we don't count Fujin, it's probably a wake up 6K throw.
Is Fujin throwable? Oh, it's not. Yeah, it's not throwable invulnerable. Right? It's only strike, if I recall, right?
Oh, it's 6K.
Fujin.
Yeah, Fujin can just be thrown.
Okay, Mech. What about Venom?
Anji that's just fine against Venom. I think the Venom player has to be pretty much not only better, but know how to shut down. Like,
Zyga's thinking of a Fallout, man. Sorry.
It's probably hard for Venom. Anji has the super jump, so anytime he's at full screen, he has to worry about how Anji can navigate through the maze of projectiles. Like if he tried to do a charge Stingray Oki, it can get guard pointed. How like just like random balls on the screen can get guard pointed, right?
Yeah, and I'm guessing the new guard point's probably really nice for just like filling in that space that you need to do to move forward on him too.
That depends.
I mean, I don't know how it's gonna go. He has to worry about Fujin air dash, yeah. I've never had issues against Venom. All right, fine. We're moving on then. I mean, so it seems pretty convincing that a lot of Anji players feel like this match is like not hard for him.
Anji's tools counter Venoms.
Yeah, you can also guard point the balls on reaction too. Well, he can feint the balls if he wants to, right, and go for a low throw.
Yeah, he can. But having to do that.
He's playing out of his element, right? He's playing out of his element for sure. He's probably playing backseat the whole time. I can't see a Venom player wanting to say this match is in my favor. It's going to be at the very least even, if not worse, right? I imagine.
They're the ones playing around you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Backseat to Anji the whole time, I believe it then. So only a 5.5 then, huh? Ha.
It could be a 6. If I were a better player, I might say that it's a 6.
Okay, that's fine. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, I've never had issues with like if he doesn't. Yeah, I forgot about that. You can just guard point the balls. Damn, that's such a luxury. I think what it really sells me to about the guard points is that they're command normal, not even an input, or not a motion, right? They're just like a command and an input. That's super luxury in terms of execution and like reacting to things simply. Okay, Testament and Anji. Unless chat has something to say about Venom. Right, I'm moving on. I need Testament.
Testament is Testament, but Anji can beat some stuff. Like Anji can straight up beat what's it called? Warrant. Like he can straight up beat Warrant. He has to dealing with EXEB's pressure that everyone has to. So there's no real difference there, I don't think. Trees.
I think trees are still an issue, right? I'm pretty sure. Well, unless you guard point through the trees.
You can guard point through the tree, yes. So that gives Testament something to think about at least. Curse, however, is a pretty big problem because it's a bit random. What else? I just don't think like Testament's a strong character. He gets by being a strong character. Yeah, but
Wow.
basically, like things that characters have trouble with,
Mm-hmm.
Anji can deal with, and that's no different with Testament, right? Except for EX EBs, but even then, Anji can do like D counter to maybe get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Since now D counter it recovers in the air,
Right.
so you might not have to deal with it.
Um.
And yeah, converting against Testament is also really easy anywhere on the screen. So generally, you're getting max damage combos into full knockdown.
Thanks, Tofu. Makes me. This is actually one of your worst matchups you have, right?
It's one of my worst personal matchups, and probably objectively also a bad matchup because her offense, well, her Oki game, yeah, her Oki game is throw based, and that's just a huge problem. The between the long throw range and the fact that you can't do much about fish, it means that you have to resort to things like D counter and maybe K counter, but even then, like it's just much less advantaged. Yeah, that's all I can say really. Like Disney's just a really good character in this matchup.
4.5. Either way, you guys still feel comfortable with it. I think it's usually pretty interesting because when Anji players agree, it's like okay, cool. I think this is good against her. This is Dizzy's favor. Damn. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, she explodes when she gets hit, but I have some trouble
Wait, so
converting
are
out.
you saying you can't win neutral against her? Because that would be a bigger factor in determining why this match is skewed.
Neutral is like not that horrible.
But it's not great. Okay.
It's not great either. Like normally against zoners, you have the luxury of.
Yeah, she's stacked against you basically as a character. That makes sense to me.
I would say so. Normally against characters like her, you have super jump as an option, but against Dizzy, it's like, it's there, I guess.
What's priorities? All right. So Dizzy, not a great matchup for you, right?
I personally have a hard time with it.
I mean,
but if you get her in the corner, she's not gonna have a good time either. I just think that in the even if you consider both characters set play, Dizzy's comes out somewhat ahead. I would, in my opinion.
I need Genshin, bro. It's my lifeblood. Okay, I can see it. I'm having a hard time picturing how the neutral would look. That's kind of like where my mind's like stuck at right now. Like how do you just Fujin? No, even you can't even Fujin if it's just fish out, right? You just hit the fish, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't Fujin to brain dead.
It's okay. I can see the matchup being kind of skewed for Dizzy then for sure.
Yeah, you want to find a way to like get rid of fish first.
You're also attacking a character. Yeah, she has pretty good lows from far away too if she wants to do 2D and stuff. Bubble is also a problem. Is Bubble a problem for Anji? Bubble's pretty good against a lot of characters.
Yeah, Bubble is good in general.
Oh, we're talking about Anji versus Dizzy flow. If you want to chime in real quick, you could probably 6K guard. Probably. I mean, that's like Anji's answered everything. I think, though, right? 6K guard.
but I think the thing with Bubble is that it's safe. It's a very low risk neutral option. But in general, I think. So fish is always a problem. Fish is a problem for every character. With Anji, it's no exception, right? Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, I can almost see Dizzy just doing like just air dash back and just do a fish, and then Anji's like, well, shit. All right, Slayer. Where's Slayer at? 4.
Slayer, that's also a personal bad matchup of mine. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would disagree with it now that Slayer is worse than he used to be.
Right.
But he has a good punish game, and that is he has a good punish game at certain ranges, right? Like for example, if Anji does the S follow up to Fujin, Slayer can punish that really hard every time, unlike a lot of characters.
He probably has some of the strongest lows for punishing counter hitting too with 2D, 2H. I'm not sure about this matchup either. I feel like Dandy is not a very effective tool against Anji because of how active your attacks are. And I always feel like that's an important tool for him to be able to use. But he's also changed a lot. He's actually one of the more changed characters. So I can't confidently say I understand how he works in this version of the game.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure either. But I agree with describing it as volatile.
No, it's one of those matchups? Yeah, okay.
It can definitely swing either way.
Okay. Ino. Oof, that's brutal.
I think a good Anji player can destroy Inos. Uh, she just seems very committed in everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good against Anji. Like I against a character who does a 4-frame reversal during hit stop, having to always commit, it doesn't seem very good.
I'm bad.
Not to mention, like Anji has like several different anti-airs. Her mobility is also kind of one-dimensional. You know that if she's gonna try to do any burst movement at you, it's probably gonna be that triangle dash, right?
Okay.
And it's just in general, I can't imagine it being being good for you. You know, she can flex her strengths, sure,
5K.
but
5e. Yeah,
but
I see
even
5P being really hard for just to deal with. That hitbox was probably just good enough to deal with her.
yeah, just sticking out a move.
So something that I'll chime in real quick. Something I know. So Ino's buttons, they're not great. They're super functional once she's in, but outside of that, they're not great. Maybe minus far slash, like her standard far slash, right? But they're all specific. Like her moves are very specific. They have very niche uses, I would say. They're not very universally useful. This is how I would describe Ino's buttons, right? Whereas I guess Anji has like a bunch of just like I could use these buttons here all the time and just be very reliable and consistent. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, she's committed. I don't even know how she's gonna approach. Right? She has to like fish for a chemical law. I don't know. I think
she can do notes. Notes is fine. It's just not that special.
It's not gonna do anything, right? You can just move around it typically, right? I imagine maybe if she does a force break note, it might be a little bit of an issue. Can you guard point through a force break note from full screen?
Well, you can, but she's not gonna be there to eat your guard point.
No, so I'm basically asking, will the note keep staying on you while she gets in during that time, even if you try to guard point through it?
Like, well, I think it's like 3 hits. It's 3 hits, right? So I think she approaches during the block stun rather than before it.
Oh.
That's how I see it. So if you try to guard point a note and do like a P or a D counter, she might not even like be in your face yet.
Right. So she can steal it if she has meter, I guess, maybe. She could probably get in that way, but I don't know how she's gonna do it outside of cheeky setups, I guess, basically.
Yeah, and even then, if you have enough ground, you can super jump backwards. Like, what you gonna do?
Right.
I'm not good in that matchup. Okay. But
I'll add more information if you don't feel super comfortable. But yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think if you just talk about it from the point of his summons, I think Anji can deal with Ghosts fine. Sword is a problem for anyone, but Sword needs positioning. Dog, I am totally clueless against. I do not know what to do against Dog. Having said that, I think Zappa is just. I can't imagine having a. I can't imagine having a significant advantage over Zappa in any way. That's the biggest problem.
I'm trying to think, like, I'm trying to think of, like, do any of his normals give you problems in particular?
Maybe not his normals, but all of Zappa's strengths come from his summons, right? And none of them are exploitable enough.
Okay.
You kind of want to get. You kind of want to engage Zappa when he doesn't have a summon like anyone would, but it's just not that simple, right?
Okay. He can throw you an OTG you into summon. Even his 5S, which is ridiculous when you get challenged. That's pretty good to know. But the problem too, like I think in this matchup, 6S's might be too committal for this kind of character.
Yeah, committal things are no good, and just in general.
But I think it's good enough to know though, right? Because sometimes you just need to be able to check your character, your opponent. That sounds good to know for sure, Leo. Nice input, for sure. And
we are at Bridget.
I need to find another Bridget player for this input too. I don't know if Sonoshi has enough. But what she put this as? Let me see here. Sonoshi, where you at? She put it as Anji 5. Interesting. She said she wasn't sure about this one, I think. Or no, she is probably sure. She played you millions of times in Maxing Core, right?
Yeah.
So this is probably I think
She
GGAC+R
has a
is.
4. She has a 4.5. Alright, that's probably a fair assessment.
I don't even know how this match works.
Bridget, it's you're Anji's the chase. Anji's the one chasing Bridget, and his chasing game is, I would say, pretty good. The super jump gets you across the screen, and you have to. It makes Bridget think twice about whether to press like what fire slash, what 6 slash,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe 6P, and you can get it. You can avoid the 6P a little by doing JD and stuff. It's just about. It feels like for Anji is about just being careful and not getting hit by those kinds of moves, because those are the good moves, right?
I don't
I would
even
say
know
in this
how does
matchup,
Anji chase Bridget? Like, what do you do?
you put her in a certain position where she has to, like F and M Leo said, like maybe have to play around the FB on or something, or if he just lands right in front of you, that's fine for
I'm
Anji
sorry, I
too.
didn't see. Yeah, even when FB on her when she flies up. Okay.
Because you can either run or super jump, right? So if let's say if Bridget is flying,
Mm-hmm.
then it doesn't matter. You just try to go somewhere under him. But if Bridget's waiting for you on the ground, then you have different approaches from full screen, and Bridget's counters to those approaches. Well, assuming he's going to press a button to counter those approaches, 6P, 5S, and 6S are all pretty committed moves.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. Only I talked to Sonoshi about that. I forgot. That's like the one match I could be like, oh, she probably has enough information on this to understand how it feels. Okay. Huh. I still can't see it being a 5.5 personally. So I'm curious if I get another Bridges input.
Who do you think is? What do you think the matchup is?
See, the thing is, I also think Bridges is a pretty bad character. It's probably more of a factor than actually being Anji's favor. So much as I think Bridges not that great. But I also can't see Anji chasing her down, like knocking her over, getting her on the floor.
Oh, so yeah, so delay wake up. What? So even if you do delay wake up is strong against butterflies, and what's
not
this,
even
what's
knocking her
the-
down, but I mean like getting to Bridget, like even at neutral, like just getting to Bridget, like we want.
Anji can do it. Anji can
Okay,
do it.
okay. If you feel comfortable in it, then I believe it. Yeah, I can see Roger being kind of a nuisance, right? Anytime where it's kind of be similar to the fish incident, right? Especially if it's Roger punching Roger, right? Because like you're gonna hit into it, and then I don't know what you're gonna do from it.
Yeah, Anji can't really counter Jagged Roger either.
Okay, interesting. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, that's why this is a matchup. I'm just having a hard time visualizing it. It's probably just because my unfamiliarity with Anji and Bridget as a matchup too. But for now, I'm gonna believe you that this matchup is in your favor. That's fine.
It could be even.
Yeah,
If someone said it was even, I wouldn't.
believe it.
I mean, I would believe it. Yeah. Robokai is a personal bad matchup for me. It seems like what's up?
Does Stormwalk traumatize you or what?
No, against like when I did play when the rollback netcode first came out, when I did play against random people, I ran into good Robokais and they always gave me trouble. But it sounds like a lot of Anji players think that matchup is fine, so I'm probably just doing something wrong.
No, I'm still chimed in saying yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. That's what Alex has been saying this whole time too. That good lows and throws, right? So basically, if you could combo off your throw and you have a good low, you're sitting pretty. Especially if they can throw your OS too, right? Especially, right?
Yeah, some characters just had that bigger throw.
Anji just can't do Fujin. I guess Robokai. What happens? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. What happens if Robokai does or gets Fujin? Wait. So what was going on with Robokai? But Anji dominates neutral.
Anji, no, Anji should win at neutral.
I mean, the slightly.
He just has better buttons. And his mix
yeah, that's what I was saying. That Anji dominates neutral. DP destroys P follow up and beats HND follow. Does it really? That's kind of funny. Before spring.
No, well, guard point is sorry. They just guard point for a certain amount of time.
No, for Fujin. Like if you do H or D, it's only one hit of guard point, right?
No, it's any number of hits during those frames. Yeah, but it's just that it's mid and not low. So you can just hit it gets countered by lows.
I forgot Imsong plays Robokai. I was like, whoa.
It does feel like Kai has to kind of commit more at neutral. But also one of his weaknesses is that he has to build up to his good stuff.
That's the thing too, right? I'm telling you, do need to get level 3 bazooka, right? Whereas Anji's like out of the gate just being Anji.
Yeah, but Anji can kind of ignore that. Like he can he doesn't need to engage. That's one of the better parts about the matchup.
But I think Msong's bringing up a good point too, though, that like a lot of characters kind of just might have to like hold it against Fujin sometimes, whereas at least Robokai does have like a straight up option to it, which is nice.
Yeah, you hold. Yeah, you hold that Fujin because if he presses 5k, you just lose.
Okay. Yeah, that's the main issue with the character in general. You're playing a heavy. Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like how kind of why I rate Johnny pretty low. I kind of also rate Bridget a bit low, and that's mainly because I feel like she just doesn't kill you fast enough. But I just think Anji has a hard time against missiles outside of Fujin range. You're talking about air missiles, right, Leo? I don't know. How do you feel about air missiles? Air missiles are pretty tricky to deal with in general.
I think they're okay. You can double jump to avoid them. If Robokai tries to approach you, then he's the one. I would argue in that situation, he's the one taking the slightly bigger risk, unless you're putting yourself. Unless you're like double jumping and then landing on the missiles and having to block them, then it's bad, and that could definitely happen. It's not that cut and dry.
I think one thing I would probably be really wary of too is the forced landing recovery that Robokai is gonna have from doing air missiles, whereas when Anji does have a full screen invulnerable attack.
Yeah, but Robokai often I see them do like two missiles in the air, and that covers enough space and is active enough.
Oh, to hit you out of it.
So yeah, and if he does it high enough, you can't just super jump over it or dash under it.
Okay, closer with Fujin now. Yeah, you're gonna see that 6SL come up a lot in terms of like Anji just being an asshole. He mentioned it a lot for like control and like the matchups, right? Just 6S them and it's just a tedious asshole move to deal with for a lot of characters.
Yeah.
The Robo's far slash and Anji's.
But the things that there are some things that do work in Robokai's advantage, like the delayed get up, obviously, and mid screen. It might be hard to convert. You might have to give up a little bit of damage sometimes.
All right, Aligar, we can go on to Holy Order Soul. So let's compare this 5 to where is your Anji? 4. Interesting. Wait, no, not wait. 6. So this is curious. So what do you think about Haas? I can't imagine this matchup at all. I would assume that if you think Soul is hard, I would imagine Haas would be the same thing.
But see, Haas needs more positioning than Soul. Soul can do Soul has so we're talking about like for example a low throw game, right? I think neither Ho nor Haas gets much off a low mid screen, but Soul gets massive damage off a throw. It's not true for Haas.
That's what you're more worried about. I think Alex is more thinking about the lows and throws where Aligar is thinking I can murder you from a counter hit 2D. Oh yeah, Fafnir might be a big deal.
Oh yeah, for sure. But still you have to commit to a 2D. It's not one of the better buttons to need to commit to in general. I would say. And Haas also kind of loses at the spacing matchup. I think. But outside of what Fafnir.
This is you and Aligar going at this point for me. I'm just like I don't know what Haas does. I would assume I don't know how good his 2D actually feels in this matchup.
Yeah, Fafnir is great against Anji.
The giant pain.
I mean, yeah, it's probably better than using 2K. 2K, you're gonna get Jack Squad off 2K.
Yeah.
Also, Haas is good at just pressing buttons very quickly. So like just stuff like just mashing JP or I don't know what other button you can press a lot of is good at beating stuff like Fujin.
You get OS Fujin on Wake Up? How would you OS it, Aligar? For those that don't know. I don't know how that Haas is. Oh, do you just do the normal 2v2?
Yeah, I'm assuming those are moves that recover before Fujin does. So
Yeah, that's like the standard affair if you're lucky enough to have that. Yeah, 2P2K, yeah.
Yeah, so no, Fujin is definitely not free. Fujin is not free in this matchup. You have to rely on all your reversals, which is what makes the wake up game much worse. As soon as you have to think about doing a wake up 3k auto guard, you're kind of on the back foot already, I would say. And this is definitely one of those matchups. But I think I just think Haas it's another momentum character issue, like we talked about, right? He needs to build up. He needs to build up in the game where a character like Anji kind of doesn't.
I forgot if the one thing that's coming to mind for me, Aligari, is that if you Gunblaze, I forget if his hard slash is wide enough to clip you for doing that. That's like the one thing that's coming to mind for me. When he does like the big ass 2K covers butterfly and DP. Oh man. It is? Okay, that's funny. I don't know if they'd be throwing it out, but it trades a lot. Okay.
Yeah, so when I watched AGF play against Haas, he would knock down, do a butterfly, and then he would read the Gunblaze with a 2D. He would just run up 2D and beat the Gunblaze. But yeah, that's why it's a problem though, because if you have to do something like run up 2D to beat something like that, that's another thing that works against Anji.
Yeah, no, Aligari is sick with Haas. Well, I gotta fix some things real quick with an issue real quick.
Yeah, I am surprised that he used 2D instead of 2K as well. I'm not sure what the rationale is. Maybe it just does more damage on. I think it does more damage on counter hit. Like 2K is not as rewarding, I guess. And so I guess 2D. I guess the 2D I saw was probably more of a hard read against the Gunblaze.
Well, keep talking, Alex. Pretend I'm listening to you.
What else? What else is there with that matchup? Like I don't know. I'd say Holy Order Soul is another one of those characters that's just kind of too fair for this game, right? He has good stuff, but it's just not. It's not that high up on the bullshit scale. Yeah, you're trying to outplay a character that's like mashing this reversal that's plus on block, right?
That's not like oops into wins. But Anji is a lot easier to do. Let's see, Aligari, you're really strong too, right? So like a lot of it's probably just coming from player finesse. But I think it's cool that you feel this matchup is in your favor versus where Alex is like it's slightly in my favor. Or was it even or in your favor? I forgot what you said.
It can be in Anji. I think it can be in Anji's favor. It's a very very player based matchup.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. No, I think Aligari is strong. He beats my ass.
Then I'm not surprised he thinks is in Haas' favor. Because if you outplay Anji, you dominate him.
Well, I mean, that's a player thing too, so I don't.
Yeah, you read something with a Fafnir, you just win.
Damn it! You freaking Fafnir Fujin follow-ups. You are a madman. But I mean, we're trying to exclude it from like making it player matchup dependent though. So like, I think Alex is trying very hard to make it like on a mechanical level. I think that Anji is probably more suited to win this matchup.
Well, it matters because it's like there are some things that you can't solve, right? Like Dizzy Fish, you can't really solve it. You just take it. But everything Haas does, you can solve. And that is the same thing with a lot of those honest matchups.
We can DP on reaction to every Anji follow-up.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Another thing I saw AGF do a lot is just Fujin and then just do nothing. Wait for the Haas to react to nothing and go back to kind of neutral. I mean, it's not neutral because Fujin's like minus 20 or something, but doing nothing is an option.
How minus is Fujin on block normally without doing anything?
I forgot. It's like minus 12 or minus 20. It's not good.
Oh yeah. It's a mind game at that point, and
yeah, it's when you mind games it so far that you just do Fujin into nothing and you don't get punished for it. She's just a polarizing character. You have to evaluate from like how much time you think she's gonna spend in Moroha mode, and that's pretty hard. Like because that's gonna be different every match. It's not always gonna be the same flowchart for either character. But Anji's gets knocked down so easily, and he can just IK her from anywhere on the screen off of most of his knockdowns. So maybe Abba is favored in Moroha mode, but that's a really big maybe.
Well, I would say she has a better, like, I think, because like Anji doesn't necessarily have to like do like damage to her. She will probably kill himself, like if she's not really careful with Anji's guard points and stuff, right?
For sure, guard points should always lead to a knockdown. Basically, almost anything leads to a knockdown into IK. Like she has to hold her burst to avoid that. So that's just already not so good for her.
I can see that being right, because like what's her big game plan usually? Right? It's like meaty you with a crouching hard slash too, right?
Well, if she does an obvious meaty, she's just gonna get guard pointed, so that's gonna work against her as well. But her bigger strength is that she has a good throw game. She can make you block like 2 moves and throw you for so much damage. But the weakness that character, I don't know. It's so hard to analyze because sometimes she can never even blood pack.
For Anji, because Anji control that match that well at neutral for her. Is she like that weak at neutral? I can see really
maybe not too horrible.
But I can see
it's just that
great against Anji. Like,
it's not great. Yeah, because she keeps all her strengths of Moroha mode. There's nothing many characters can do about that. But because Anji can just knock down that easily, it's just that easy, right? Like the reason that like because so much pressure is removed from Anji in that sense, that because it's not like she's never gonna go into Moroha mode. That's not gonna happen. She's gonna go into Moroha mode one way or another, and by that time she's already taking risks against a character with a bunch of reversals and easy IK.
So, I'm just say like I'm pretty sure like just in my mind I can visualize this pretty easily that this is actually an Anji matchup. Because this is like it doesn't even come down to a matter of damage. It comes down to Abba having to like take silly guesses, right? And early on before she can even get her momentum going. So, do you think?
Yeah. So starting out as normal Abba is just, yeah, no comment.
Okay. Just as Abba, I'm curious about that. We'll get there tomorrow, Allegari. Presumably tomorrow, we'll be talking to Chan about it. We will get to tomorrow, presumably. Yeah, wait, so what you're saying about Justice? Sorry, I cut you off again.
Seems okay. Justice is not a fast character. You can super jump over nuclear blasts, I think that's what it's called. MB. And I don't think Justice has enough of an advantage with what she's good at against Anji. Like MB can be a problem, but the fact that you can just jump over it and reset the MBs makes it so that.
Oh, that's interesting. Sean also says Z, right? That's
cool. Yeah, makes it so that Justice can't just slowly bully you into the corner with MBs, right? Like she needs a different game plan.
Right. This is probably gonna be one where I'm like, I have no idea. Yeah, wait, so but how's like I'm gonna always say how's like just raw neutral gonna be? Yeah,
it's kind of,
if she does a nuke, then what does Anji do? I guess do a butterfly. I don't know what he does.
You can super jump over it sometimes. It depends on how you do it, because if Justice does a high MB, right? I think it's tricky because you need to know which buttons Justice are holding down, and I often don't know. I just pay attention to the MBs. So let's say I think the high MB is which button is that? The one that arcs upwards.
That's R slash, I think, is the very one that goes like super way up, like R slash, right?
Yeah, the one that goes.
If I'm correct.
Yeah,
Does she
So
have sorry, I forget. Tron, does she have a dust nuke? I don't think she does, or does she? Oh, it's S. Okay. Is that?
yes,
She has two. She has the one that goes like up forward, then she has like one that's like basically like straight up vertical, right? If I recall. Oh, does she really? Which one's okay? Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Yeah, that answers your question right there, Alex, right?
yeah, okay. So it's like, so basically, the way I see the matchup is you pay attention to which nuke she does, right? And then decide whether super jumping is going to be an option. If it's not, because she can't. How many nukes can she have on the screen? That I'm not sure about either.
Oh, thank you, Song. This is perfect.
I don't know. I don't think there's a limit. But in any case, you're just navigating it. Oh, there we go. That's a good one. But you're just navigating around nukes, right?
Yeah, as long as you have buttons to hold down, you can have a nuke out. So you can theoretically have 5, but then you can't press any buttons.
Yeah. So because Anji has that super jump, it it makes that part harder on Justice. Because from what I've seen is that Justice does the nukes, and a lot of characters just sit there and go like, well, I have to take this chip damage now, or I have to try to do something kind of risky to go through the nukes. It's less of a matchup with a character like Anji that can just super jump like that.
Yeah. No, Tron mentioned that this is a matchup that you don't really use nukes on it, so I was wondering what Tron was going to chime in with real quick. Don't go in too crazy, by the way, Tron, because I'll be talking to you about it later. So, can crouch 5p through that pot.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's a pretty big deal too, right? Yeah. Just go in like kind of briefly, and then we'll. Even when she crouches, that's funny. I didn't know that. I mean, I play Mei, right? My 5p hits everything. The crouch, so I don't really think about it. I wonder if got a lot of surprising people. Yeah, for sure, Tron. That's what we'll do tomorrow. Okay, let's do Cliff. I'm pretty sure you have no experience on this matchup, but you probably still marked it as, yep, you did mark it in your advantage. Alright.
Yeah, not much. I really don't have much.
Wait. Let's talk about Hono. What did Hono say about this one? I'm curious. Anji? Damn, that's funny. Okay, I'm talking to Hono about it, so he says it's your favor. That's funny. Or Cliff's favor. Wait, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he might have more things to say about it. For me, I just don't think it's.
Oh, he does have 2D. Cliff has probably the best sweep in the game. I think Cliff dies so quickly it doesn't matter. What's Cliff's life bar? What's his damage modifier? It's like, I don't know. But yeah, keep going. Yeah, what do you think about it?
In theory, it doesn't seem bad. Because firstly is that I don't know what Cliff does to Anji that other characters can do better against than Anji does. I honestly don't know. Like it doesn't seem like Anji's gonna fare worse in general.
All right, Danny, go for it, bro. It's just there for you, man. Just there for you. I need to see Cliff get stunned. Does Anji do enough stun though? Like I'm not even sure if he has stun.
Not that much.
Yeah.
Mostly off counter hits.
Comment. Let me add it. Alright, cool. Consistently, I stun consistently.
Yeah, that would be pretty crazy, wouldn't it?
I want to put needs more information for you for this clip match.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fine, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
In theory, I just can't imagine it being that bad.
Okay, now Anji, crank it up. So, Alex, yeah, thanks for helping me out with this, man. I super appreciate you giving me the time of the day for this.
No problem.
Did you have fun with it? Was it interesting to you, at least?
Oh yeah, it's nice to talk about it nice to talk about this kind of thing after years of not playing fighting games.
Hey, you filled it in very willingly.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, it's just old man experience. Put that to good use, right?